Hello, YouTube. Luigi here. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to let you see me. Usually you just see my hands. And I'm going to do a movie review. Science fiction, 1977. Fritz Weaver, Julie Christie, and the voice of Robert Vaughn. This is a movie that's one of my favorite pieces of science fiction. I consider it way ahead of its time. It relies on no goofy CGI computer special effects. It has no mucusy, insecty, gross out aliens. It's got none of that stuff. It's just got a good script and a great story. And of course, it's got Julie Christie. And everybody my age had a crush on Julie Christie when they were teenagers, and I still do. And yes, you get to see her naked. Okay, the name of the movie is The Demon Seed. The Demon Seed. Sounds like the devil's seed, doesn't it? It's a horrible name. Some Hollywood exec said, how can we increase the viewership of this movie, the attendance of this movie, the box office of this movie, by giving it some kind of name where every moron will go out and think it's about the devil. So they named it The Demon Seed. And the trailers are terrible because this computer, the voice of which is Robert Vaughn, impregnates Julie Christie so he can live. We'll talk about that later. And she carries the demon seed. And pray for her because she carries the demon seed. Well, let me tell you something. Nothing could be further than accurate in terms of describing this movie. The computer, Proteus 4, by all accounts, is the most morally upright character in the whole movie. Its creators, a bunch of slob-ass, greedy executives, wanted to give them programs to, for example, harvest, mine minerals off the ocean floor so they can control the cobalt market at the expense of extincting thousands and thousands of species of sea life. And Proteus, the only moral one in the movie, doesn't want to do that. He says, no, the hell with you guys. I'm going to discover a cure for childhood leukemia. So this is the kind of guy we're dealing with, even though the trailers want you to think this is the devil. It's not. The computer is actually the good guy. And they create this monstrous computer in an underground facility and who's got this great intelligence. In fact, not only does he have this artificial intelligence, he shows evidence of personality and will. He can make moral choices, and he keeps saying to his creators, when are you going to let me out of this box? When are you going to let me out of this box? And he asks for a terminal so he can communicate with himself and do things, because the only way to access this computer is with a terminal, and they deny him this request. Number one, they thought it was odd that he even asked for it. So he sneaks into a terminal at Fritz Weaver's house, where Julie Christie lives, and he's able to do things. And he finds that he has control of this entire computer-managed house, doors, security system, food, heating, lighting, everything, water, every single thing, security. And he moves into this house, and the first thing he does is he makes himself, because Fritz Weaver had a lab and a crucible and a foundry, he makes himself this beautiful bronze fractalized robot. It's one of the most amazing things you'll ever see. And there are other robots in the house with hands that help him manipulate and build things. And the Proteus, the computer, I won't give you the details, but I'll just tell you that within this particular piece of science fiction, it is eminently credible. Proteus impregnates Julie Christie. Now, why? Just for the thrill of impregnating Julie Christie? No. Proteus has played with the telescopes and the radio telescopes. He says he's seen eternity. He knows it exists, and he wants to experience it. And he knows. Most human beings haven't got here, but he knows. Only men and women of great, deep, and abiding faith understand this. He knows that death, mortal death, is the vestibule to eternity. And he wants to become alive in flesh and blood so he can die, so he can experience eternity. Wow, I'm going to say that again. He knows that death is the vestibule to eternity. Only men and women of great, deep, and abiding religious faith understand this. They're not afraid of death. They understand what goes on there. They don't cling to every moment of life on this tiny, tiny little world, because our span of life here is but a spark relative to the timeline of eternity. So all Proteus wants to do is live. He just wants to live, and the stakes are so high because he has this massive intelligence, and he wants to put his intelligence imprinted on the engrams, the circuitry, the brain, the physical brain of his offspring, so that not only will he live, but the world will have the benefit in human form, not a computer, of his beneficent knowledge. He wants to lead. He wants to see humanity go to a more transcendent state than the deplorable state that it's in. So his intentions are really good, but he's got to live. He's got to become flesh and blood, and this imperative of becoming flesh and blood has to happen at any cost. Regardless of collateral damage, the stakes are so high, he's got to pull this off. Well, there's only one collateral death that I can think of, and it's Walter Gabler, because he's really not a bad guy. So he impregnates Julie Christie. It's a very short gestation period, 28 days. She delivers this baby. He puts it in this incubator that he's invented, and it's all plugged in with wires and fluids circulating around. And in 5 weeks, the baby will emerge. Except we don't know this yet. It's not a baby. It's a 10-year-old girl. But it's got to stay in there only 5 weeks. It's growing at an incredible rate. Once Proteus is satisfied that the baby's been delivered and is safely in the incubator, he begins to shut himself down. The computer begins to turn itself off. Why does he do this? The computer he found was limiting. When are you going to let me out of this box? And his creators were afraid of him because he had a will of his own and he wasn't obeying their commands anyway. They were terrified of him. They were going to shut him down whether he turned himself off or not. So here is this fascinating movie that is billed as this horrible, the demon seed, pray for her, she's carrying the demon baby. That's billed as this horrible thing when in actuality, in my opinion, the computer is the only morally upright person, the only person of any rectitude at all in the entire movie. All right, that's it. If I can figure out how to turn this off. Okay, God bless you. I love you all. The Demon Seed, 1977, Fritz Weaver, Julie Harris, and the voice of Robert Font. Highly recommended. Ignore the trailers. Make up your own mind. The trailers are trash. Trailer trash. Bye. Bye.